to today's discussion, and today we are going to learn about nouns that are plural in form but they are singular in meaning. This is our continuous lesson about special nouns part 2. In the last lesson, we have discussed about nouns that are plural in form and in meaning. And there are two kinds of nouns, plural in form and meaning. We have the paired nouns, which are the following. We have pincers, scissors, tweezers, slacks, braces, dungarees, pants, tongs, binoculars, spectacles, socks, forceps, shorts, knickers, eyeglasses, jeans, shears, overalls, pliers, pajamas, and sleepers. So the reason why they are called paired nouns and they are plural because they always come in pair. And when it is pair, it means it is always more than one. Another kind of nouns that are plural in form and meaning are the miscellaneous nouns. These miscellaneous nouns do not fall under the group of paired nouns because they mean the other way around. What are the examples of miscellaneous nouns? We have savings, minutes, the outdoors, archives, quarters, wages, belongings, eaves, soap suds, aborigines, goods, surroundings, remains, nuptials, and oaths. So once again, the nouns that are plural in form and meaning are paired nouns and miscellaneous nouns. And these nouns will always take a verb without s or are, were, and have. Today, our main focus is the nouns that are plural in form but singular in meaning. There are four different kinds of nouns that are plural in form but singular in meaning. The first one is the diseases or infections. We are going to talk about these kinds of nouns or diseases that ends with s but is always considered singular. First one is arthritis. So arthritis is common to old people. This is a joint pain or joint disease. Next is colitis. Colitis refers to inflammation of the inner lining of the colon, and usually this is caused by eating a lot of preservatives and foods like noodles because they are harmful to our colon. Next, we have diabetes. Diabetes is a chronic condition associated with abnormally high levels of sugar or glucose in the blood. And this is usually felt by those people who loves to eat sweets. Most of the time, even the young children right now at this age are diagnosed with diabetes because of eating too much sweets. So be careful by eating these kinds of food, okay? Next is osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a bone disease that occurs when the body loses too much bone meat, and this makes too little bone or both. And the main cause of this is lack of calcium. So that's the reason why your parents are telling you to drink milk even while you're young and to avoid soft drinks because soft drinks can make your bones brittle. Okay, and you drink milk so that you're strong. Your body will become strong, especially your bones. The next kind of disease is the measles, which is common to young children like you. So measles or tigdas starts with fever, runny nose, cough, red eyes, and sore throat. It's followed by a rash that spreads over the body. Measles virus is highly contagious virus and spreads through the air through coughing and sneezing. So when you were young, probably if you didn't get vaccinated with anti-measles vaccine, then you are prone to having this kind of disease because this is a virus that spreads from one person to another. So be careful with measles. Next one is mumps. Mumps in Tagalog is beke. So this is a viral disease caused by the mumps virus. Initial signs and symptoms often include fever, muscle pain, headache, poor appetite, and feeling tired. This is then usually followed by a painful swelling of one or both parotid salivary glands. So this is where it usually occurs. That's the reason why some of your parents would actually put tina, okay, because it lessens the pain inside or in that area of your salivary glands. Okay, and mumps is also contagious, so it can be transferred from one person to another. Next one is rickets. So rickets is the softening and weakening of bones in children, usually because of an extreme and prolonged vitamin D deficiency. So as you can see, this is the normal kind of legs, okay, but those with rickets would look like this one because of deficiency in vitamin D. So you better research what are the foods that will give you vitamin D to avoid rickets from happening for you, especially nowadays that you are no longer going outside of your houses. Next, we have paralysis. Paralysis is the loss of muscle function in part of your body. So usually this happens when your brain stops working or when you meet a terrible car accident or any accident that will not or will disable your body from moving. So this is one of the most painful kind of diseases that one person might ever have. Next, we have neuritis. Neuritis is an inflammation of a peripheral nerve or nerves, usually causing pain and loss of function. So because of neuritis, there could be a side effect, which is paralysis, because neuritis is an inflammation in the nerve. And if there's an inflammation in your nerve, some of these would result to loss of bodily functions. Next one is phlebitis. Phlebitis is commonly known to women or old women because this is what we call varicose veins. So the veins are being inflamed. That's why you can see them. If you see your grandmother or even your mother in their legs part, there is like this color violet linings there and veins. That is what we call phlebitis, and this is incurable. Okay, so if you have healthy legs, then you won't see any varicose veins in your legs. So be careful, because sometimes the worst possible thing is that these varicose veins can even cause pain and deep swelling. Next one is rabies. So rabies is very common to dogs or to our pets, especially if they were not given anti-rabies shots. Most of the time, those who are bitten by pets with rabies might die instantly or within the day. That is the reason why if you're bitten or even if you're scratched, you go to the nearest hospital and get an anti-rabies shot or even anti-tetanus shot, and this is a very costly shot. Okay, it's very painful as well. So be careful with your pets. Do not let them scratch you or bite you as well. Next one is conjunctivitis. Conjunctivitis is where your eyes, okay, which is white, becomes a pink eye. Okay, and this one is more likely near to sore eyes. Okay, so you have to be careful also. Take care of your eyes, especially now that we are doing online classes. Wear protective glasses so that you can protect your eyes from conjunctivitis. Next one is gingivitis, which is very common also to you children at the moment. Why? Because this one is an inflammation of the gums and usually caused by a bacterial infection. Number one cause of gingivitis is if you're not brushing your teeth often. Or number two, if you're brushing too hard. So what happens to your gums is that your gums will turn red and then it will become bloody and it will cause your mouth and will cause you to have bad breath. So when you brush your teeth, do it gently and do it 3 times a day. In that case, you will help protect your mouth and your teeth from getting gingivitis. Next one is cystitis. Cystitis is an inflammation of the bladder. It's an inflammation of where part of your body becomes irritated, red, or swollen. And cystitis is the cause of UTI. And UTI, unfortunately, is a common disease right now for children like you. So you have to be careful, drink a lot of water, avoid drinking soft drinks, and avoid stopping yourself from peeing. Okay, so that you will not have UTI. Next one is rhinitis. Rhinitis is also known as coryza. So this one is common to people, especially nowadays, but then because of COVID-19, there is a slight similarity between rhinitis and COVID or the other viruses. Why? Because here, rhinitis causes stuffy nose, runny nose, and sneezing and postnatal trip. And this one is caused by viruses, bacteria, irritants, and allergens. So the basic thing that you can do, especially now that we are in a pandemic, cover your mouth, cover your face if you have rhinitis, so that you will not share your virus to other people. Next one is tonsillitis, which is very common to children as of the moment. So tonsillitis symptoms include a sore throat, which is swollen tonsils, and a fever. So this is caused usually by you drinking a lot of cold drinks and eating so much sweets. So your tonsil, which is normal, will become swollen. So as you can see, here's your sample of tonsil, and a swollen tonsil looks like this. And then your throat will become so itchy and you will have fever. Okay, and the worst part of this is if you have swollen tonsillitis and it commonly occurs, then you might get operated and your tonsillitis might be removed. Okay, so right now, lessen your sweets, lessen drinking cold water or even soft drinks, and drink water often. Now, let's move on to the second kind of singular nouns or plural nouns that are singular, plural in form, but singular in meaning. We have fields of studies or the things that we study in school. So what are these subjects? We have aeronautics. So if you wanted to be a pilot, you can say or you can take up aeronautics. Next, when you were a kid, you were taught to sound alphabets. That is called phonetics. Next, if you want to be the president of the Philippines, you can take up politics. If you wanted to study the eyes, then you can take up optics. Next, if you wanted to make our economy grow by putting money in it, then study economics. Next, this is your favorite subject, mathematics. So economics and mathematics goes hand in hand. Next is civics. Civics is the study of history. So in Tagalog of civics is civica. Statistics is also a mathematical study wherein you get surveys and tally them up to find out the mean, median, and the mode, or even the range. It gives you information and data which are needed for any study that might be presented in future researches or future references. Next one, after learning about the fields of studies and the diseases, the third is the miscellaneous nouns. So there are nouns that do not fall under the first two categories. That's why we call them miscellaneous nouns. So what are those? We have billiards. So the game billiards is, though it ends with S, it is always considered singular because it is one game. Next, we have news. Okay, news, though it ends with S, still is singular. Checkers is also a game. It looks like dama, but the only difference is that it's using circular chips as your material for the game. Unlike for dama, you use chess pieces. In checkers, these chips are used for the game. Next is molasses. Molasses is a black trickle or a viscous product wherein it is used for horses. So these are good for livestock, horses, cattle, and many more. Next, we have the gallows. Don't you know that gallows is used for execution in the early times? So this is used for hanging people, especially if they are murderers or criminals. The worst execution or punishment that could be received by these kinds of criminals is hanging through the gallows. Next, we have shambles. Shambles is a slaughterhouse or meat yard. So this is where, this is a brutal place wherein pigs, cows are being killed so that they can be sold in the public market. The next one is the geographical places. These places, yes, might end with S, however, they are still considered singular in form. Again, these geographical places might end with S but is always considered singular. Examples of these are the following. We have Philippines. Of course, there's only one Philippines. Even though it ends with S, it's only Philippines. Next, United States. So United States is only one country. Same with Wales, Brussels, Bahamas, Naples, Netherlands, Athens. So these are places all over the world that ends with S but is only considered one. In the Philippines, we have Navotas, General Santos, and Ilocos. So as you can see, though they end with S, they are still considered only one. Now, please do take note, when we are using these kinds of nouns, always remember that for nouns that are plural in form but singular in meaning, such as diseases, infections, subjects or fields of studies, geographical places, and miscellaneous nouns, the verb should always be with S. You can also use is, was, or has. Again, for nouns that are plural in form but singular in meaning, such as diseases, infections, subjects or fields of studies, geographical places, and miscellaneous nouns, the verb should always be with S. And with that being said, let's have an activity. On your first activity, all you need to do is to encircle the correct verb that will agree with the subject to complete the sentence. Let us try the first one. Economics is a science that deals with the product and distribution of goods. The correct answer for number 1 is. Why? Because economics is a field of study. It is singular. Use is. Number 2. Billiards are a favorite game of young and adult males. The correct answer for number 2 should be is. Why? Because billiards is considered singular. It's a miscellaneous noun, therefore use is. 3. Your ethics proves your good breathing. Ethics is a field of study, it's a field of study that deals with our moral. So therefore, since ethics is singular, your verb should be with S. The answer is proves. Next, number 4. The shambles in the room were an ugly sight. Our subject here is the word shambles, and shambles is singular. Therefore, our verb should be was. Number 5. Diabetes seems to be a common illness among old folks. The correct answer for number 5 is seems. Why? Because diabetes is a disease and it is considered singular. Now, let us further develop what you have learned today by answering the next activity. For our activity 2, all you need to do is to encircle the correct verb that will agree with the subject to complete the sentence. This time, you're given 10 items and a minute to answer the activity. Do well! All right, so now let us answer our activity for today. Number one, mathematics is, because mathematics is a subject. Number two, athletics. Athletics is singular, therefore our verb should be has. Number three, Athens is a nice place to spend vacation this Christmas season. Athens is a place, a geographical place, and it is singular, therefore use is. Number four, her rhinitis worsens every day. The correct answer should be worsens. Five, billiards were Rick's favorite sports. The correct answer is was. Number six, the news makes me feel anxious. The correct answer here is makes. Seven, diabetes starts in a young age nowadays. The answer should be starts. 8. Physics is our subject in high school. The correct answer is. 9. Calculus is harder than algebra. The correct answer is. Last, number 10. Tonsillitis is a disease common to young children. The correct answer is. Now remember, all these subjects that you have seen in this activity are all nouns that are plural in form but singular in meaning. And if that's the case, always choose the noun or the verb that has s, or is, was, and has. To further develop what you have learned, let us have activity 3. In activity 3, all you need to do is to choose 10 words from the lesson today and use them in sentences. Use the proper verb that agrees with the subject, write it on a paper, and submit your work in class ed. So what are the lessons that we discussed today? We have discussed the nouns that are plural in form but singular in meaning. We have learned about the diseases or infections, fields of studies, geographical places, and the miscellaneous nouns. So you are going to choose 10 words from either one of these. So you can use around 3 words from diseases, 3 words from fields of studies, 3 words from geographical places, or 1 word from miscellaneous nouns, or put them all together. Okay, choose from all these kinds of words, use it in a sentence with the correct verb. Okay, so remember, when you choose one from them, your verb should always be with s, is, was, or has. With that being said, I'd like to thank you for joining me in today's lesson. I hope that you will be able to master our lesson for today, nouns that are plural in form but singular in meaning. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again on our next. Goodbye.